Jenna had Jenna had a dream, and she basically dreamt about me. She didn't know me, had never met me. We lived in different states. And she told a guy that he was going to meet me. And it wasn't just any guy. It happened to be someone who was and remains very close to her heart, a prodigy, someone who was a student of hers, and not just any student, but the student, maybe one of the most successful students that she's taught. And when she said this to him, it wasn't a joke. And then here we are today, details to come later, but here we are today. And yes, I met the gentleman, and he happens to be my spouse, a very successful Tommy Collier. So thank you, Jenna. Now, let's see. Then I went to Vegas by way of personal development, personal growth. I went to several different places, studying with the great Bob Proctor, personally mentored by this wonderful, wonderful gentleman. And because of that, I met a consultant, a fellow consultant, PGI consultant named Celine. Celine and I met, instant connection. Celine, she's very, very, very intelligent. She's a financial expert. Yes, excuse me. I was just reading in the chat because, squirrel's brain. Anyway, she's a financial expert. As I said, she's a certified PGI consultant and a published author, and you'll get to meet her in a minute. I met her. You'll love her. I love her. We're on a team. Then, let's see. I met this gentleman who really, friends, I can't tell you how people say, Monty, you move me, you excite me. And I can't tell you how great it is to hear that, that I affect people, I cause this effect in people. But when someone causes that effect for me, Milan, right? When we met, and since we've met, I knew we'd be here. We spoke about getting here and doing things in a way that we want, creating what we want, not concerned about current circumstances. Yeah, just great to be in the same energy with you. Very pleased. Ryan McDonald, friends, globally, listen. Trust your intuition. Do that. It doesn't matter if you're at, I don't know, let's say, Ryan, 7-Eleven maybe, right? And it was my cheat day, so I was having a half a dozen donuts, and so it took me a while. So I was in the parking lot for some time, and I saw this guy coming out looking like a young Adonis, and he's walking. It's a little windy in Colorado, and his hair is blowing a little bit. And I said, wait a minute. Why am I noticing this, right? Why is this like in my rearview mirror? Because I don't know who I was looking out for. Maybe someone who was going to ask me for a donut. I don't know. But I happened to be looking in the mirror and I saw him. And I said, he better not be in this car next to me, friends. Because if he is, then I'm supposed to speak to him because I was drawn to his energy. And I didn't know why. Well, let's just say 72 hours later, I found out that my good new friend and now my colleague, Ryan, was reading this book, right? So I said, if you're reading Think and Grow Rich, why, it's meant to be, and here we are. So now we move to Kat. And how did Kat and I connect? Well, Kat and I connected through Celine, of course. And Celine says, oh my gosh, Monty, you have to meet Kat. She's wonderful. She's in our energy. She's on the same frequency. We're all moving toward greatness. And here's Kat. So I want to share some things. I gave a slight introduction of everyone, but I'm going to allow everyone else to do that for themselves. I too, excuse me. I too am going to introduce me. So my name is Monty Maurice Collier. I am a certified consultant with Proctor Gallagher Institute. I had the privilege, as I mentioned earlier, to work with Bob Proctor. And throughout the year, the rest of this year, and the years to come, I'll mention that and I'll share stories, and they're all success stories. You know, it was like walking on air with this man. It was like, I don't know if you've ever experienced every door being open for you and all paths being cleared for you. From this machine right here, looking no further than self, learning to do that, mastering that, opening every door that others believe is closed to them, and even sometimes we believe are closed to us. We have the skills, we have the knowledge that we can convert into a skill to cause us to clear any obstruction in our way, because it's a choice. It's just like, okay, there's a mountain there. Well, you're going to climb it or you're going to find a way around it. Pause. So anyways, I do want to further introduce the fact that we are a new team. All of us have our special skills. Mine happens to be, I love the camera. I love people. We have master's degrees, we have associate's degrees, we have bachelor's degrees, and we have servant's degrees, you know, and I really love serving the people. I love providing value, whether it be in humor, whether it be in storytelling, whether it be just looking at me, because, you know, I look at myself a lot and I find it really, really calming and soothing, just looking in the mirror and loving myself. We have PhDs too. Okay, PhDs. Okay, Kat, that's cool. And I love that. What else can I say about me? So I have a lot of stories. I'll share one of them with you. I learned when I was a child that I wasn't happy. And there are so many details and so many things to share about that, but I wasn't happy. And because I wasn't happy, that meant that I knew that something was wrong, that if I wasn't feeling great, if things weren't great, that there was something else. I could seek something else. And it took me a minute to get from knowing something was wrong to realizing that I could seek something else. But as soon as I realized it, as soon as I came to that realization, I knew that there was no going back from there. And so I think I just started to move away from anything that I didn't want in my mind before I could actually physically do it. Because, you know, as a child, you just can't go when you want to. You can't leave something when you want to just because you want to, not physically. But I learned to leave, you know, in my head, which caused me to dream a lot, which caused me to have a lot of visions and to visualize. And I was unconscious of all these talents, you know, and I met that genius who, I mean, I can't tell you how amazing it is to say that I met a genius who shared everything, excuse me, generously. I get choked up a little, I apologize, but this guy, Bob Proctor, he was so generous, you guys. He was so good about, he was so great actually about reading people. Thank you. About reading people, and once he read a person, he knew how to deal with the person for their betterment. And he consciously did this. And I, as he said, the most unconscious competent he's ever known. Have so much power, Monty. Yeah, boy. Stay tuned. I'm going to go ahead before I get on Jen, before I get on, you know, go down a rabbit hole of greatness, of course, I want to pass the microphone to my colleague, who, as I said before, she's an accomplished author. She's a PGI consultant. We are here because we want to share the energy of a solid collaboration and equal collaboration. And yes, we believe that experience is wonderful, but it doesn't have to be specific experience. Like my experience isn't greater than anyone else's, and my degrees aren't greater than anyone else's, right? And so I want to say that it's okay to get sidetracked a little when you have a lot of goodness going on. Just know that sometimes, and we'll talk about this later, you have intrusive thoughts. Does everybody know about those? And you know, when you're doing something really great, distraction always creeps in. And so here we are getting a little distracted, having a little intrusive thoughts. And this is how you make it through that, folks. You just smile, look pretty, keep going, and say, listen, I have a published author coming on the microphone, someone who is a little less wound up than I am, probably a little more grounded than me. She specializes in trauma recovery, so she knows how to deal with this. Mariposa, Celine, please take the microphone.
Hey, Monty.
Thank you, Monty. Thank you for that great introduction. Yay. It's funny because I think when we're on the same frequency, we attract, I don't think this, I know this, I believe we attract similar people that share the same thoughts, the same values as we do. And that is exactly what is happening here. It's by law, just by being our true selves, right? And when Monty came to me with this idea of the Waymakers, we didn't even have a name yet for it, right? We're masterminding in our conversations. And I said, you know, I didn't tell him this, but I was on the same path as doing something very similar to this. Kat and I were talking about doing a study group and doing the same kind of exact thing. We're teaching, we're learning together, we're growing together. We're sharing our experiences with the law of attraction and mindset, positive thinking, all the things that have brought us together here today is because of those same principles. And this is the beauty of it. When Monty came, I said, yes, this is what we're doing. I brought Ken, and then he brought everyone else. Amongst us, we brought the other right people, right, that are joining us. We're joining forces. Milan, Jenna, Ryan, you're going to hear from all of us today and get to know a little bit of who we are and how we came together. And, you know, we've been meeting for the last 2 months every single day, just sharing our experiences, enlightening each other, growing, and we've come a long ways in the last 2 months. For us to launch a new program and to have everything we have in place, to me, it's just short of a miracle, right? This is not something that happens alone or overnight. This is a work, team effort and collaboration. And, you know, that's the mindset of abundance, is collaboration, not competing, right? We're not competing against each other. We're not competing against anyone else. We are here as a collective, sharing our wisdom. And this is what we call ourselves, a collective wisdom. And now we want to share our wisdom with all our audience, with everyone here today. We just want to give. We want to give out of our hearts. We want to give what we know, what has helped us. We each made a way in life, each one of us, when there didn't seem to be a way, right? Where most people stay stuck, where most people don't make it out of the trauma cycles, out of abusive situations, out of our own personal limiting beliefs, where we don't believe that we can do the things that we want to do in life because of XYZ, right? We fill in the blank, whatever that is. So we found a way. We want to share that way. And through our sharing, we know that somebody's going to relate and to know that what they're going through can get through and find their way. And so we're here to create a path. This is why our group, we call it Creating Your Path, because it is about you. This is not about us. I mean, it's great. We like to think that for our egos, right? We do. We're happy that you're here, but this is about you. This is about you and your growth and your development. And we're here to help and serve. I think every one of us, I know all of us have a servant's heart. We like to give. We don't like to take. We like to give and provide that support. So that's what we're here. We're here to share and share our experiences. So for me, I consider myself an unconscious competent. I didn't know exactly what I was doing it because I was following my passion. I worked for a corporation bank for 23 years. I never saw myself leaving my corporate world. I thought that I had nothing else to give. Like, this is seriously what I thought. I thought I had nothing else to give. I got my degrees. I had my experience. Like, if I leave this bank, what am I going to live off of and survive? Like, I just didn't believe in that in myself. So through my first coach, Kat, it's so true. I was like, I can't leave and start over. I was like, no, I'm just going to stay here and retire. And I did retire from the bank, but not at 67 and a half. I mean, if I was, and I look fabulous, but I'm not. I retired at 42. And I said, I'm just done with corporate America. I found my first coach, Bird Mejia, who helped open my eyes, right? I was so closed-minded. I was so caught in my own paradigms, my own self-limiting beliefs, my own shame. I had a lot of shame and toxic thoughts about myself. And so when she came to my world and started showing me and teaching me all these things, at first I was resistant. I didn't believe it. I was like, no, this is the way I was raised. This is what I believe. And this is what I have to do, right? Putting up with stuff I shouldn't have put up with. Nothing that a woman needs to put up with, right? A lying, cheating husband and just being manipulated all kinds of ways and just, working. I was a breadwinner. I have a master's in business. I was vice president of my mortgage branch, had 17 loan officers under me. I was making buku money. I had the dream house, dream car, dream everything. So my professional life was beautiful, right? We were spiritual leaders at our church. I led a bunch of activities, Bible studies, women's studies, all of it, right? But I was inside of me, I was dying and I didn't know where to go. And I just prayed to God that I did everything that was right. Why was everything so wrong in my personal life? And just to take me, like I was ready to leave this. And I was like, I've done everything I can. I'm done. But I was not done. I was just getting started. And through the I would say spiritual reawakening, I realized that I was just working off old programs and beliefs and what I was taught. And there was a whole different world, a whole different way of being that I hadn't allowed myself to be because of limiting beliefs. And so I expanded, I opened my energy, my heart, my soul. I told God, Spirit, to guide me, show me the way, because I've done everything to my book that I thought was right. And so here I am. I left my corporate job. I divorced my narcissist husband and I moved and I started following my dreams. Right when I retired, COVID hit. And then everything got shut down, right? I didn't know it was going to shut down, but I think it was perfect timing because I wrote my book. And here I am. I started my coaching businesses. I'm here to help others, help them get out of the same situation that I was in. And so you'll learn more about me as I share. And I'm so happy that you're here. I'm going to pass it on to Milan, who considers himself humble, and I will not say anything else. I'll let him speak.
Great job, Celine. Yay. Yay, Milan.
Yay. Yes, like Celine said, I am awesome at being humble. And with that, my title is Lord. So it's Lord Milan Wazoo, which is pretty fancy. And, I'm a part of the Waymakers because I had to make a way for myself like all the others when it seemed impossible, especially after breaking my neck at 17 and becoming a quadriplegic. That's pretty doggone impossible. And I didn't know how I would be a person of value ever again. And it was a huge concern of mine because, my entire body just shut down. But, like the time, with COVID and everything shutting down, then it really gave me the time in the hospital and then the years subsequent to just examine myself and figure out, what am I doing? Where am I going? And how did I get to this point? And some of that was very difficult and things that I didn't want to address and didn't want to admit. But when I did that and started listening to myself, listening to those prompts that I had and that connection to spirit, it really allowed me to come up with new solutions and to hear things that I didn't hear before, and to just stop ignoring those prompts of what I really knew what to do. And, bit by bit, as my thoughts and my words became positive and really started to guide me, my world started to open up. And I was listening to myself and decided, you know what? I can't hide this wheelchair. You can hide depression, you can hide sadness, you can hide a lot of other things, but that was extremely visible. And because that was visible, I decided, well, I'm not going to hide anything else either. And the things that interested me, like speaking Spanish or figuring out, my dad's history when, because he grew up in an orphanage, and just tracing those roots and really discovering myself, bit by bit, I started to really love myself. And I never imagined that, breaking my neck and using a wheelchair would be a love story. But that was really the beginning of, my self-love journey. And, we've all heard that expression, trust the process and love the journey. But it was really, for me, learning to trust myself and to love myself on the journey that I was on, and not to compare myself with anybody else, and really just, decide, okay, what can I do with my thoughts and my words? And I really realized that, well, I can create a whole other world just by the way that I was thinking. And the things that I accepted as true for me just opened up so many different doors and challenges. It was definitely scary, but exciting the whole time. And, bit by bit, saying yes to myself, ideas came. And, I was listening to spirit as it was giving me these ideas and prompts to do certain things. And that led me to, publishing my own book and joining my fraternity and opening up my world to new possibilities and new ways to be valuable. And I realized that it's not just about, my physical presence, but it's about, the energy that I put out. It's about the words that I speak. It's about, being able to listen as well as to, speak to people and to help them make a way. And, as unlikely as it seemed, success happened in a big way. And it was all because I said yes to myself. I started to see myself as just really valuable. And, that opened me up to starting my own business and making braver and braver choices. And eventually, I got to the point where it was, I was expecting a quantum leap. And if any of you don't know what a quantum leap is, it's really, you've put in the work, you've done the work for yourself. You've done the internal work, you've done the self-development work. And, there comes a point where it's not just another logical step. That has to be a really big gap in between where you are and where you want to be, and to just be able to make that jump. And I started to believe that and think about that and think about jumping in a big way to, quadrupling my salary, and to going from, just taking a few steps at a time to, I'm going to run a 5K, and just expecting these great things that just excited me and terrified me. But mostly just, I thought sounded awesome. And at that point, that's when I got a random phone call from this guy, Monty Collier. And, I was on vacation at the time. And he's like, oh, I told him I'll give you 5 minutes, because my wife was looking at me like, we're going to dinner, buddy. What are you doing? And, that 5-minute conversation turned into a real friendship, bit by bit. And then realized that, I was attracting the answer that I was looking for. Like in a lot of ways, Monty was the catalyst for me going from, oh, I want this, to I get to have this. Like that's a big difference. And that's a mental shift. But that's when a door started to really open, and I started to know myself in a different way. I started to attract other powerful people and a lot more powerful information. And I've been able to use that to grow so exponentially and so fast. And, making a way for myself when the circumstances were definitely not ideal over and over again, made me a waymaker even before we had this title. And we've all made a way for ourselves. And I like to say that, we made a way for ourselves, and, we filled in some potholes along the way so that other people that are coming after us, the road is a lot smoother. And especially for me as a new father, when I got married, I married a single mom of 3. And I'm like, okay, well, now's a good time to be more valuable. And, thankfully I had that time post injury. I never thought I'd be thankful for it, but I'm thankful that I did have that time to really self-examine and to build myself up into a valuable person, so that I could give and I could be a more effective father and a more trusting and loving partner for my wife. And, connecting with Monty, I didn't know connecting with Monty in 2021 would lead to the Waymakers in 2022. But that's how it works when you say yes to yourself. New opportunities, come knocking at your door, and like scripture says, those opportunities come chasing you down. And living in a place of abundance and being able to make a way in a huge way, a global way, on this Zoom, and with the people that are here and with the people that are coming our way, it's only time will tell how great it can be. So I'm super privileged to be a waymaker, to call myself a waymaker. And it really is an empowering word in itself, because it constantly makes me think that, I haven't just made a way up to this point, but I'm still making a way. And, discovering that journey and loving, like Monty said, discovering the in-between, where you are and what's coming next, and just loving that, loving the steps that you're taking. And it's so much easier when you've learned to say yes to yourself, when you've learned to listen to that voice, and when you've learned to persevere. And that perseverance has given me so much joy. And I never thought that something that seemed so tragic at the time of breaking my neck would be, really my transportation to a much better version of myself. And it's been super amazing since then. And, being on this Waymakers team, our collective, like Celine was saying, it's just been awesome. And it's awesome to not have to do it by yourself. And it's because that's something that I definitely didn't want to do anymore. A lot of what I've done in my adult life, my pursuits, my parents, my family have been supportive, but they had no idea how to help me. And, it was a lot of figuring it out on my own. And I'm super glad that I did, because, I really got to the point where I wasn't betting on my circumstances to be ideal anymore. I was just betting that I was worth it to keep going. And I knew what I was willing to do and what I wasn't willing to do. And I was willing to stick it out, and I wasn't willing to give up. And my life has really become a whole list of things I just think are awesome. And, instead of waiting until I'm, 85 to start my bucket list, I just decided to live a bucket list kind of life. And that's really what brought me here. And speaking of bucket list life and not giving up and keep pursuing, I'm going to introduce our next Waymaker, who is Catherine Thompson. So go ahead, take it away.
Thank you. Oh, beautiful, Lord Milan. I don't know how to follow that, but you are just a superhero. And I am so honored and humbled to be with this group of people that I've just learned so much about and have learned from in the past couple of months. And I'm just excited to be here. This is the beginning of something really big. We just have the connection to source and the energy that this is going to be. We just believe this is going to be big. So my journey started, a long time ago, probably when my first husband passed away. I was left with two teenagers, and just trying to figure it out. With it, one that was kind of going into alcoholism, my daughter, and addiction, and the other one was 18 and trying to find his way. And I really didn't have the tools that I have now, and I wish I did. So I had to kind of figure out a way to kind of make my way and persevere. And I did, and that's what I do. I consider myself a starter over because I have had several restarts and resets in my life. And I'm always, I consider myself to be a positive person, and sometimes life just throws you these curveballs, and you just get up and dust yourself off and move on. I feel like I have the tools now. I wish I had then. When you know better, you do better. And now I know better. So the interesting thing happened. I remarried in 2008 and was married for about 10, 12 years to my second husband. And I was really unhappy after I was in an accident, a horse accident, broke my hip, which really changed my life again. And I just my husband, now ex-husband, kept telling me how it changed his life and kind of ruined his life. that I was now not able to do what I used to do. So I became more and more unhappy in the relationship. And the funny thing happened is that Celine popped into my life right at the exact right time in 2020. Was it 20? I
Yeah,
think
I think it's right when I
that's
launched my
years.
book. It was at the end of
Yeah, she had
2020.
just launched her book, and it's like, oh my God, Celine, I'm so grateful that you're here. I don't know what to do. I'm here stuck, and I didn't know she was just starting her journey as well, but she kind of talked me through what I was going through and helped me make a decision that was life changing for me for the better. And so with Celine's help, I read her book and it really resonated. I mean, I didn't, a lot of the things were not applicable to me, but a lot of the things were. Um, so I read the book and kind of like learned about the laws of vibration and manifestation, and I just thought I want more. So I ended up divorcing my husband, leaving Kentucky. I had been in Kentucky in the meantime from California. So I moved back to California, got the divorce, moved back to California, moved in with my parents, which is a whole nother story for another day, another time. But here I am now. I'm happy. I'm just happier than ever. And I spent a year learning about myself, studying, thinking into results. And I've had Bob Proctor as a mentor, Kathleen Cameron, and Yuki Yoshi, learning about laws and about soul and soul's purpose. And I met Julia through Yuki Yoshi, who's on the call. And so I'm just in a happy place now. I'm just in a place where I just can thrive. And then the Waymakers came up, and it feels so natural to be in this group of people. We really learn from each other and about each other and help each other. And I think that we have so much within our collective that resonates with other people, be it trauma, um, having teenagers, going through divorce, losing a spouse, and getting up and picking up and making a new life. We've all done it. Or traveling the world, traveling the country on foot. And we've got people that have been there, and we're all ages, all we come from all walks of life. And I am in such gratitude and joy, happy to be here. I'm so excited that you are on, Jen and Julia, as we start, because this is only the beginning, and I'm so happy that you decided to join us. It's going to be beautiful. And with that, I want to introduce Ryan McDonald. And this guy is just my soul spirit. He's an adventurer. I wanted to be like him when I was his age. And I see him and I just love his spirit. And take it away, Ryan.
Thank you, Kat. First of all, I want to say welcome to the Waymakers. Thanks for tuning in today. Um, my name is Ryan McDonald, and really my story started at a young age. I was born into a single parent home where I guess subconsciously I learned that if I wanted anything, I had to obtain it for myself. And eventually when I started to work, I began to feel trapped at work. I was just working for the tool money to be able to purchase, material things. And after a while, I just became trapped, and I was aware that all the people around me they weren't seeking more. They didn't have goals, and they weren't planning to go anywhere. So in a weird series of events, one day I decided to take 4 weeks off of work and go on a hike to try to find myself and find what I wanted to do in life and find my path. And in doing so, on that 4-week hike, about 2 weeks in, I discovered that minimalism and the freedom brought me pure happiness that I had never felt before. So from that point on, I attempted to complete the entire trail, which was the Appalachian Trail. This is a 2,200 mile hike from Georgia to Maine. So I set a big goal in my mind to be able to, accomplish this entire trail, which usually takes around 6 months. And I took it day by day, which is where I became very goal oriented, because every day, I got to do 20 miles today, or I got to make it to this water source by this time. So I started to learn being goal oriented and setting goals to accomplish, and then in feeling the accomplishing of the goals. I mean, it's an amazing feeling, like setting goals and accomplishing them. So come the end, I ended up completing the entire trail, which was 6 months and 1 day. So that was the biggest goal I had set and achieved. And then on, I went back to work, back to real life, as we call it, out on the trail. But work was never the same after that, because I wasn't working for material things. I was working for a freedom. So it was always a means to an end, and it was always trying to move forward. So in between the two trails, I started reading. I read a bit of Napoleon Hill, like Think and Grow Rich, which is where I learned that the theory that if you believe you can do anything, then you can achieve anything, you can have anything you want, you can be anything you want. And if you set goals and put them into action, that you can have anything you want. So I started to live by that. And I set out a second goal to accomplish the Pacific Crest Trail, which is a 2,650 mile hike from Mexico to Canada on the West Coast. And I went at it with a different mindset, because it wasn't me trying to find myself. It was going on another journey and setting goals. And while I was out there, I was also listening to audiobooks and trying to learn as much as possible, where I would write down all my goals, which a lot of them were financial goals. But I also had goals to become my best self. And I ended up accomplishing that trail as well, which took just over 5 months. And ever since then, I've just been working towards greatness, really. I mean, one of the books that I read on that trail was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, where he talked about a mastermind group and the law of attraction and stuff like this. So I even have it written down, on my goal list to be a part of a mastermind group, which clearly we're part of now, and this was recent. I ended that trail in last October. So in doing that, I moved here to Colorado, where I am now. And I enjoy writing down all my goals and manifesting everything, and one being a mastermind group that I'm a part of now, that y'all are a part of too now. So and this is a panel of amazing people. So that's kind of my story, really. I mean, I like to write down goals. I I want to help everyone realize that if you write down goals and work towards your goals, then you can accomplish anything you want in life. So on that note, Jenna, welcome. She is a former professor. She's a current writer, poet, a mother, and now she works in the nonprofit area. So Jenna, welcome to the panel, and thank you for your time.
Yay.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, Ryan is our literal waymaker. I just love that his story aligns with all of ours, but it's quite literal. He took those steps on that path one at a time. I mean, the part, Ryan, when you talk about your goal to make it to the next water source, right? That's like life-saving, life-giving, important to life. And I think so many of us in our lives are just trying to get to the next water source, metaphorically, right? Whatever that is. Kat and Milan talk about survival. Monty and Celine talked about, trauma and recovering from trauma and thriving after trauma, not just surviving. And I think all of those messages, all of those life paths are what brought us all together. We are a unique and very diverse group. As you can see, Ryan is actually the same age as my son.
So am I.
we
So am I.
range. Yeah, no.
I'm the
Monty
same
knows.
age as your son too.
We each have our own paths and the way that we got here. And I think, Milan talked about the power in the name, the Waymakers. And it truly is, because each of us are on this journey together. And, there are potholes, there are rocks that we stumble on, there are obstacles, but together we help each other, over those obstacles. Our goal for you, for each other, is to light the path, to shine a light on the path. Like we all have little headlamps, and that's a remarkable experience. I know that in my life, I've had several incarnations of my life, like Celine, like Kat, like Monty. I wish that I had it as together as Ryan did at such a young age, but I too, survived trauma and had different iterations of my life. And I have been through multiple careers. I was a professor for 16 years. I'm a mother of 3. I'm a writer. I've been a coach. I've been all kinds of things, a speaker. And now I work in the nonprofit industry. But even still, like Celine and Kat were talking about with their careers, there's a sense that there's something more. And I call it HAL. That makes me a sci-fi geek, I guess, but I call it HAL, higher access to learning. And I think when you plug into that higher access to learning, you really reconnect to that inner child, the one who instinctually knows what's right for you, who was born into this world with a purpose, who has a light that shines eternally, that internal light that sometimes we cover up, that sometimes dims because we feel so sad or we feel heartbroken or we feel lost on our path. And I'm so incredibly grateful that, as I've made my way in the world, there has always been someone along that path to light the way for me. That obstacle was never something that stopped me completely. There were times when I thought it would. There were times when I thought I could go no further, but always there was someone to light the way. And I think what's truly, truly important in this group, and for those of you that have joined us in this, premiere, it's important that you are here, because I don't believe in coincidence. I don't think any of us do. We all believe that the laws of attraction and that the universe, higher access to learning, the great being, God, whatever you choose to call your guiding light, is there for you and shines for you and brings you to the people that need to be part of your life. And this group is about that. This group is about community. This group is about that universal love. This group is about that wisdom and that guidance. I have had some remarkable mentors in my life. I have learned from the best, right? Bob Proctor, so many people. I was mentored by a poet, who was imprisoned with Mandela and a great leader in South Africa and in the world. I've worked with international scholars and, really remarkable people. I mean, one day I got to walk through Chelsea with Yusuf Komanyaka, who's a Pulitzer Prize winning poet, knocked on a door to go to a party, and Danny Glover opened the door and invited me. And so I've had these just remarkable moments in my life where things that I never expected to happen to me happened to me. And it all came from being open. It all came from opening my heart, opening my mind, raising my vibration, and letting it all come. And I think that that is one incredible thing about this group, is that every time I log on, when Monty asked me to join, I, like Milan, said, okay, I'll give it a try. I'll give you 5 minutes. I'll see what it's about. I'd love to meet your friends anyway. And I logged in and I've never logged off, because this is, this is my new morning coffee. This is my new morning jam. This is what wakes me up. This is what gets me going. I, in fact, was gone for a longer weekend, and I really, really missed this. And I'm so excited, and I hope that you, when you come to this group, feel the same way that I do, that this is an amazing opportunity to join a group of light workers, of people who are seeking to fulfill their own purpose and to help each other fulfill our purposes, and that there's only positivity, there's only hope, there's only help here. And I'm just so glad to be a part of this group and to have you be a part of this group. So thank you for joining the Waymakers. And I guess I pass it back to Monty at this point.
Yeah, I just want to give everyone a big hand, because if my stream deck was activated, it would have been applause and all these sound effects that my husband taught me how to use, but I don't know how to fix my stream deck. What I do want to say is I really, really respect, appreciate, and look forward to this energy that we produce together. I understand completely that we are going to touch a lot of people. A lot of individuals will resonate with each of us and all of us. What's important? Yes, I would love to know. That's great. Jen Forey, let's unmute you. Hi, friend. Good
How we
morning.
doing?
We're wonderful. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me. Celine and I have been studying together for quite some time now, and she mentioned it to me, so I was more than happy to. I'm always willing to learn more, do more, and be around like-minded people. So here I am.
Love it. Love it. Great to see.
Yeah. One of the powers of studying together is that you learn and you grow from each other. And this is why this is so wonderful and beautiful, because we can continue to elevate ourselves and grow. And, I just love studying. I don't know but me, I love to study and learn. And this is what I've been in, and just giving myself that time, right? Sometimes we're just so busy, but when you're committed with a group of people, you show up because you don't want to let the other people down, but in a sense, you're not letting yourself down either, right? So this is why it's so powerful to come together and have a group of accountability and the mastermind, and just a beautiful thing. So I'm happy you joined. Thank you, Jen, for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
And
thank you
Celine,
for having me.
I just want to note that when Celine freezes, she freezes just like for a second in the most beautiful poses. So I just wanted to point that out. Just because
My internet's
about
unstable.
that. Julia, my
Thank you, Jen.
friend.
Hi, Julia.
Can I introduce
Julia.
yourself real quick?
Hello, dear.
Hello, darling people. I could put my camera on, but I'm being so shy because I literally got up and remembered last minute. And I just, like Catherine, have been studying with Yuki, and I saw Milan on one of the trainings with that as well, and was so impressed. And yeah, like Celine was saying, to just show up and learn and be in this kind of amazing energy, life-giving, life-serving. I'm all for it. So I'm thrilled to be here and learning more about your stories and your wonderful introductions.
Oh, thank you, Julia.
Oh,
You're just a
thank
light, and I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, I know that
Thank
you have
you.
a busy schedule. Her and her husband, well, she runs a restaurant and they do breakfast.
I love
So
breakfast,
she's,
Julia.
yeah.
Breakfast is my favorite, Julia.
Oh my
Well,
gosh, we
we'll
have to
come
plan
and do.
it one day.
Yeah, we should go
We should
live
come
at
and do a
Julia's.
live session from Julia's.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
would
Yeah,
love it. I would love it.
Where are you?
So I'm in San Jose and the
Mm,
business is in Sunnyvale. It's called the
okay.
Country Gourmet Restaurant. And we weren't sure before COVID, we were already facing some tricky times and we closed for 6 months. And when we opened, we thought, let's just go back and thank the community and offer them a little normalcy and all this craziness. We could only do takeout. And from there, like y'all were saying, we just took it one day at a time and the community was there and so grateful. And we just kind of recreated ourselves from a 7 days a week, 3 meals a day to 6 days a week, Tuesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. And we're loving it.
Love it. Look at the freedom, right?
Just a beautiful spirit. I wish you
I
could see
love that.
her live because she has a beautiful, beautiful
Thank
soul
you.
and
Next
spirit.
time.
And
I
she's
feel I
really
feel all of that. I'm receiving all of that from her, right? Thank you, Julia.
Thank you.
You guys, um, so I want to tell everyone that's here and everyone that views this, you know, while everyone was sharing, and because of course I opened the call, there are things that I didn't say, so now I have an opportunity to say them again. So I too am writing a book.
You have 6 minutes.
I just need to thank you, timekeeper. Mute you. No, I'm just kidding.
Mute me.
No, I'm just kidding. So anyhow, I wanted to tell you all, world, I want to talk to everyone globally. Never give up on what you want. Never give up on what you want. If you've wanted something for years and because of your settings like the thermostat, your settings, it just won't let you go beyond where you're set. Keep that dream, connect with energy, connect with more dreamers. Because when dreamers get together and they share their dreams, I mean, they start to do. They start to do, which means take action. And so it's like, there's nothing that can happen when you take action except success. You dream about something, you take action on it, you have it. Make sense, everybody? Does anyone agree with that?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, we only have a few minutes left with you this morning, but, you know, I put it in the chat, but we have mapped out, you know, over, I think probably 36 topics total that are essentially lessons that each of us have learned from all of our different mentors and in our own life experience. And so as we move forward on this path together, you know, please feel free to invite your friends or anyone that you think might benefit, you know, from being part of the Waymakers, because we're going to be sharing out that schedule and, you know, really becoming more official as we move forward on this journey. And we're so grateful that you joined us this morning, you know, for this very first time. And it will be every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday going forward. And the way that we're operating is that first, we're just inviting people to join us and trusting how, right? The higher access to learning that the right people will show up. And then at some point, you know, this will become a paid subscription. And so we're grateful that you found us, you know, before that happened. It feels like that in itself is a divine purpose, a divine path. So we're welcoming you, and, you know, we thank you for that. And we will stay in touch with you and update you on everything that's coming. Celine is our organizer, so I'm going to hand it back to her.
Yeah, Milan had something to share. Milan?
No, I was just thinking that, you know, all of this just makes makes us all waymakers. I mean, even, Jen and Julia jumping on the call this morning, and everyone that's joined the Facebook group, they're making a way on purpose in their own life. And just like doing things on purpose and listening to yourself is really the way to, make a way. And like Jen said, like we have that light on our forehead, the more people that turn their lamp on, the brighter it gets. And, really the solutions to our dreams and our realizations just start to show up, and it becomes seamless. And it's like, I've said it in the group before, but it's that old Staples commercial where you press the button and it's like, that was easy. As soon as you get like more and more people around, it's like, oh, well, that was easy. And that was easy. And, things
Yeah.
like quantum leaps and joy and abundance, and like, just crossing off your list of dreams just starts to happen so much faster. Like Ryan said, it started off with, hey, I'm going to do this hike and see if I can, figure some things out within myself. And then it became, you know what, I'm going to go on this bigger hike because I want to. And now it's not just the self-discovery, but it's also, well, what can I do with this self-discovery? And what can I do with this awareness? And that's really what we're going to do over the next several weeks and months and years to come through the Waymakers is, highlight our journeys, our insights, and also, continue to grow in ourselves and with our community to make a way for not only ourselves and the people around us, but the people that we'll probably never meet, but that are guaranteed are watching. And our success in saying yes to ourselves means the answer to somebody else, and so forth and so on. So I'm excited that we're here, and it's been a long time coming. And yeah, it's gonna
We're
be
starting
great.
a wave, we're starting a movement, we're starting this trajectory of just energy, this beautiful energy that people are going to be attracted to. And before I let you go, and before I let Monty close us out, I just want to remind you, this was just an introduction. You'll get to know us a lot at a deeper level.
What's she
We'll
saying?
share more intricacies of our stories the rest of the 2 weeks. So Monty, take it away.
Hi, everybody. So I really want to say that I'm writing a book, and it's true. And Jenna, you mentioned turning on the light. The title of my book is called The Boy Whose Fire Wouldn't Go Out. And it was my that inner fire, that inner light that caused me to go from illiteracy to not only being mentored, but being the personal friend of this guy who shared his story about illiteracy. And then during COVID, he sends me this autographed book, which meant the world to me because I can read this. And he wrote it, and we both used to have issues with literacy. So I want to share that with you and what it's like to come from that and to be in the middle of writing a book, and changing in the midst of that and evolving and quantum leaping. And every time I do it, my story changes. And thanks everybody. I love you.
Thank you
Okay. It's
so much
8
for joining, everyone.
Yeah,
Catch the
thank you,
replay. It'll be
Mom.
in the group.
Thank you
And
so
yes,
much.
tell us you're watching the
This is
replay.
fun.
Hashtag
I loved
replay.
it.
We love
I
you
loved it.
guys.
See you
Bye.
Wednesday. Tell
See
your
you
friends.
Wednesday.
Okay. All right. Okay.